Apparently, you're not supposed to prompt AI anymore. The guy who built Claude Code, Boris Cherny, literally said this. His exact words were, I don't prompt Claude anymore. I simply have loops to prompt Claude. He said his job was to write loops. And Peter Steinberger, the guy who literally invented OpenClaw, says that he does the exact same thing. So now every person on YouTube and every person online is like, oh, you need to be doing agent loops or you're going to be behind, blah, blah, blah. Go buy my course so you can learn how to do agentic loops properly. And here's the truth. I build AI systems and automations for real businesses. I do this for a living. So I'm going to tell you exactly what an agentic loop actually is. In plain English, where it's genuinely worth it for you. So let's get into it. First, let's just kill the buzzword agentic loops, agent loops, agentic engineering. It's all the same shit. And it's honestly not that complicated. Normally when you use AI, you give it one instruction and it gives you one answer. And simply if it's not right, you tell it again and again until it finally gives you what you need. But you are driving every single step of it. All an agentic loop is when the agent goes through those steps instead of you. You simply give it a goal and it runs in a cycle. It thinks about what to do, it does it, and then it looks at what it got back. And then it asks itself, am I actually done with this? Is this complete? Or do I do it again? And it keeps going around and around in that loop until it actually gets the job done. And it hits that goal. That's literally it. It's just doing it without you having to sit there and hold its hand. So when Boris says that he writes loops instead of prompts, that's literally what he means. He's not sitting there typing up the instructions one at a time anymore. He just sets up the goal and then the agent does the prompting for him. Over and over and over and over again. So let me just clarify. Prompting did not die. You still need to prompt your agent. It just moved. And to be honest, this doesn't apply to everyone. And in certain scenarios, your job is just to create loops for bigger projects. And this works really well when you're trying to do something big, actually create an app or come up with a plan and like really systematically develop things that are going to need to work for the long term. So in that sort of scenario, your job stops being just write the prompt, but it becomes build the loop. So hold on to that because it actually does change what you should be getting good at. So let me actually make a real example of this, because I feel everything I've said up until now could definitely confuse some people. So here, say I want a thumbnail. The old way, I ask the AI to create a thumbnail for me, and then it gives one back, and then I'm like, I don't really like that. Make the words bigger, change the color, this, that, and the other. And I'm essentially just babysitting it the whole time. Every time it comes back to me, it asks as if this is okay. And I'm like, no, do it again, fix this. That is where agentic loops come in. So that is the old way. This is the loop way. I just give it a goal and a way to check itself. Now I'm going to have it make 10 thumbnails. Then I'm going to have it score every thumbnail based off of what actually gets clicks on YouTube. Then I'm going to take the thumbnail that was scored the highest, and then I'm going to have it find the weakest parts about that thumbnail, even though it said it was the best one. And then I'm going to have it fix that and then score it again. So it's 10 concepts, scores them, picks a winner, improves that winner, and then improves it again and again and again. And that's where we get an agentic loop. And it only stops when the score stops going up and it starts becoming stale or it plateaus. And here's the thing, I never touched it. I went off and went on a walk, came back 30 minutes later, sat down at my desk, and I saw the finished product. So that right there is essentially an agentic loop. Honestly, the best way to show you exactly what an agentic loop is just to go into VS Code and kind of demonstrate it. So let's go over there. So I personally work in VS Code. You could work in the terminal. You could work in the Claude app. It doesn't really matter. This is just what I prefer. But what we're going to do is we're going to start by creating a folder, and I'm just going to name it, let's see here, untitled folder. We're going to rename it. 1 second. Let's rename. And then we're just going to say Agentic Loop demo. There we go. We'll put thumbnail. Agentic Loop demo. Perfect. Okay. I usually like to do this just it keeps everything organized, and I prefer to do this. Doesn't matter where you store the folder, just make sure you have a folder that you can do all your projects in. Now we're just going to open up Claude Code. I use terminal inside of VS Code. Just, I don't know. It's just my preference. It's just what I like. And then simply what we're going to do is we're just going to open up Whisperflow, and we're going to start talking to it. Okay, Claude, so what I want is a really good thumbnail for my new video explaining Agentic Loops. First, go find a popular YouTube video on the same topic and use its thumbnail as reference for what works. Then keep looping on, make a thumbnail, and score it out of 100 against that reference. I want you to fix the weakest thing, and try again. I want you to keep trying again until it scores over a 90 or it stops getting better. And then I want you to show me the score each round so I can watch it improve. And yes, just keep continuing to do the flow and get back to me when you're done. And that's pretty much it. You tell it to do some kind of like agentic flow, and then it's going to do it. So what we do is just enter that, and we let it run. So we're going to let that run for a few minutes, and I'll come back and we will see the result. All right, the loop is done. It took about 15 minutes to get done, but it came out with something that you're probably going to be seeing this, or you probably already clicked on this if you clicked on the video. So here's the thumbnail, not bad. Probably going to use this for the video. And the whole reason why people are doing this now is just so they don't have to do that babysitting anymore. They don't have to sit there and type. And yes, you could use Whisperflow to do this and make your typing faster to get more specific, but really, do you even need to do that? Your AI never nails it the first time. Yours doesn't, mine doesn't, nobody's does. The first attempt, you always get something halfway decent. And so technically, we already do this agentic loop thing. Instead of our agents controlling the loop, it's just us reprompting it, helping it become better. So don't get confused on, agents just automatically getting smarter. It's not that. It's just us becoming more smart with our AI and how to properly use it. But all of that only works if you can actually ask the question, when is it done? Because you could have an agentic loop running all day and it still gives you something halfway decent. So here's what you need to know. You actually need to have something as reference so it can know what to base its scores off of. Because if the only thing you tell it is to stop when it's good, one of two things will happen. It quits way too early on something just absolutely mediocre, or it runs all night chasing perfect and it just burns through your money. So these agentic loops come in about 3 shapes, and this is exactly how they look. You'll see all 3 of these floating around online. The first is a solo loop. It's one agent thinking, checking, doing, repeating. And honestly, that's what I use most of the time. And it handles more than you'd think. The second one is a maker and a checker. We already have the one agent that builds everything, but we have a second agent that helps build everything while also evaluating everything. This is the one that grades it and also sends it back to the first one. And when it sends it back, the builder just tries it again. It's the one that actually makes the output good, because the grading is separate from the building. And the third is a manager with a bunch of helper agents. Think of this one as like the orchestrator. This is one agent at the top handing off work to the whole team. Think of an agent swarm where it's just handing and delegating the work properly to other agents. Or what we call a fleet of agents. And these are the things that people post online about having them actually work in office spaces just for visual reference. And I think that stuff is bullshit. But here's the honest part. The big swarm of agents, the fleets that we're talking about in regards to these agentic loops, they're almost never needed. Majority of the time, a solo loop or a maker and checker added onto it is enough. And it's a fraction of the cost. Unless you're working on some massive project where security has to be tight, you're working for an enterprise level company and the project has to be absolutely perfect, You do not need an advanced agentic loop running 24/7. So here's the mistake most people make. They see somebody on Instagram or YouTube running an agentic loop and saying that you have to do it too. Trust me, you don't. Because you're going to end up accidentally spawning 50 agents, walking away, and then half of your usage for the week is over on Wednesday. So here's the part nobody that's hyping this shit up will tell you. I would say 85% of this will not apply to you. And that is completely fine. Boris is running 1,000 agents because he's literally building the entire Anthropic code base. You are probably not doing that. I'm not doing that. And if I'm not doing that, you probably don't need 1,000 agents working like that. So here's what it could actually do to help you. Pick one thing that you do every week that you just hate doing. Something boring, something that you repeat. Give your agent a goal and then a hard stop. Make sure to give it a reference, but let it run for a few hours, maybe 1 or 2 hours, not very long. But keep in mind, the more agents that it spawns with this loop, the more trouble you're going to be in regards to usage. So just start with a 2-agent agentic loop and just see how it works for you. And then set it up to where it goes through 10 of those loops with just 2 agents and see how the results turn out. So I hope this helped everybody in thinking that, you're probably doing something that you're getting left behind or you're getting left out. Trust me, majority of the people that I speak to in regards to this who are genuinely trying to make money with AI, it just doesn't apply to them. But regardless, I hope this gave you clarity on what agentic loops are. I hope you don't feel left out anymore. But don't get me wrong, there is a right way and a wrong way to utilize AI. And that is the whole point of this channel right here, is to help guide you into creating your own AI business while you are early. And trust me, you are so early to this. It's only going to get better. And I'm just here to try to encourage some people to take advantage of this amazing opportunity that we have right now. So if you're already using Agentic Loops, tell me in the comments what you're using it for and how you're using it to get work done. Hit that like and subscribe button and turn that notification bell on. It really helps me out. I'll see you soon. Peace.